Now be live. And thank you everyone for joining us on Maker Camp today, makercamp.com. Today, we're very excited. We're here with the Exploratorium. We have Diana and Ryoko with the Tinkering at Home program of the Exploratorium, and we're going to be making Cranky Contraptions here live on Maker Camp. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Diana and Ryoko.
Thank you, Sienna. Hi, everyone. My name is Diana.
And I'm Ryoko.
And we work at the Exploratorium in San Francisco. It's a science museum with lots of hands-on exhibits. And today we're doing a workshop that we would do on the floor at the Exploratorium, which is called Cranky Contraptions. These are, we like to call them moving sculptures that tell a story. And so with you today, we're going to be making these moving sculptures. And just so you know, this isn't a step-by-step workshop. We're not going through each part of how to make one of these, but we're going to give you some really helpful tips and tricks, as well as building alongside you so that we can answer questions and also just be a part of your making process. So we have some participants here in our workshop, as well as folks joining us over a live stream. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask us and we will try to answer as we go. But you might be asking, what exactly does a cranky contraption look like? So Ryoko and I brought some examples to show for you so we can get your mind going and so you can start thinking through what sort of thing you'd like to make today. So I brought a couple examples. Here's my little inchworm. Notice how I'm spinning the handle with my hand and how I have a motion happening up top. I also have a jellyfish. Notice how its tentacles are all bendy and how it moves up and down like it's swimming through the water. Ryoko, what examples did you bring today?
All right, so here's mine. When I crank, see a little chip coming out, kind of jump. And the other one is, this one was a little bit complicated because as you can see, there are two mechanisms going on here. And the cat washing her face.
Very cute.
All right, so should we talk about the materials?
I think that's a good idea.
All right, before we get started, I hope you got all the materials that we suggested to bring to this workshop. So basically we will need three big kind of categories for the materials. And one is, you will need some kind of base. Base is like this kind of body, and it could be a paper cup, or like Diana showed her example, that one was made, was it wood?
Yeah, both of mine had wood bases.
Mm-hmm. And probably she drilled a hole. And instead of drilling a hole, I just made two holes. As long as you have a kind of a tunnel, it could be anything for your body, for your base. The other example is, for the base, is the cardboard. So here I stack 5 cardboard pieces, and then I made sure that the corrugate going like this way because I want a tunnel so that the wire can go through. And actually this example is all made by cardboard. And the second category for the material is, you need some kind of wire. And today I'm using, this is, I believe, 18 gauge steel wire, but it could be, maybe you might have copper wire or gardening wire, or it could be a paper clip that you can kind of unbend. This might work for your tiny cranky contraption. And the last category is a little piece that we call a follower, which is this part. This one is actually a kitchen sponge. as long as this little piece, we call it follower, can hold 2 pieces of wire, and when you crank it, this follower make it possible to your for your sculpture going up and down or moving. The other idea for the follower is it could be a piece of cork, or I'm sure kind of eraser could also work. If you have a thick foamy at home, like 6 millimeter thick foamy, that's actually something we would use usually for the tinkering studio floor. But since we are all at home and we are trying to use whatever we have around the home, so yeah, it could be sponge, it could be cork, it could be eraser. And then other than that, we would need these kind of craft papers. It would be great to have glue gun. And for the wire bending and cutter, I use this kind of plier. And Diana will show you how to bend the wire for your cranky contraption. Did I forget anything?
I don't think so. I think those are some basics, but we just had a question in the chat. Can we use a plastic cup?
Of course, yeah. So it could be paper cup or it could be plastic cup. I made a hole with this kind of pointy tool. Just made a hole and make sure that goes straight. Like as long as you have like a conduit, like a tunnel, so that the wire can go through, I think anything could be fine. Great.
All right, thank you, Ryoko. So I'm going to turn on my camera on my tabletop as well, because what I'd like to do a quick demo of is how do we use these materials to make a cranky contraption. And we realize that everybody has different materials at home. Ryoko did a really nice job showing us a lot of variety of materials that we can use, but I'm gonna show you a quick example using some wire. I'm using a kitchen sponge as my follower. And just like Ryoko was showing, I'm using a base that I made entirely out of cardboard. And again, notice how on one side, all the corrugation is lined up so that we have channels going through the cardboard base. But to start, I'm gonna take a piece of wire. This wire is about 6 inches long. So you just wanna make sure it's not really long or really short. Somewhere around 6 inches is good. And I'm taking pliers or some sort of metal bending tool to help me bend this wire into shape. And I'm gonna make 3 bends. One right at the end. This is about 1 centimeter long, but again, it can be more or less. You might want to try this a few times with wire before you settle on the one that you want to use for your cranky contraption. I made 1 bend here and another bend about the same distance away. And then I'm going to make a 3rd bend. Instead of completing a square, I'm going to bend it away from the previous 2 bends, and I'm going to make a little U shape. So this U shape is really handy for holding onto my follower like that. Then I can place this wire through whatever my base is. So in this case, it's cardboard, but it could also be a cup. It could be a block of wood. And then once the wire is through the base, I'm bending it 2 more times on the other side to make a handle. And this handle allows me to spin my crank. Then the last step, oops, actually, I think I made it this way. I have a little hole up here, and this hole is important because it helps hold onto the second piece of wire that comes in through the top. I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue. Some other materials you might not need hot glue to help hold your wire in place, but I found that the kitchen sponge, with all of its holes and everything, it doesn't hold onto wire super well. So what I did was I put a little bit of hot glue right here to hold my wire into place. And once it dries, which might take a moment, I should be able to spin the handle of my crank, and I expect my wire to go up and down. And this is a really great starting point for a mechanical motion. And you can imagine all sorts of stories that you could tell, something that you want to add on top, background, or some imagery to bring this animation to life. I found this little piece of cardboard, so maybe I have a little story with an arrow on it. Ryoko, is there anything else that we want to share about building a cranky contraption before we get started together?
Not some, but yeah, just like you said, telling a story is a really good start. You think about like some kind of story, like a chick coming out from the egg, or a cat washing her face. You know, think about a story that you want to tell through your creations.
Great. I just saw in the chat, I might not have been visible on my table, so I do apologize. I'm going to show one more time what I made with my front-facing camera, just in case people missed. So what I was demoing was building out this crank here, using a wire bending tool to bend the wires. And I added a piece of sponge as my follower, and then a wire coming up through the top of my cardboard. And then this is a simple up and down motion. And if you have any questions as we're building, we realize normally when we're in the tinkering studio, we have lots of examples that people can come up and touch and play around with as they're building. This is very different for us too. So we're happy to answer questions as we're going along through this hour, see what materials you're working with so that we can provide whatever, helpful feedback that we can from a distance.
And when you have any questions, just send us or put it in a chat. We try to address them.
Yeah, and I think Ryoko and I are going to be building today too. Ryoko, what are you going to be making?
I have no idea about it now.
I think I'm excited. I found this like little plastic bottle, and I thought this would be kind of fun to make something on the inside. Though it might be tricky because it's hard to get on the inside, so I might end up doing something on the outside.
I'll try to make something out of this toilet tube because I think
it's cool.
A body.
Great.
All right.
So I think we're ready to get started. So for those who are in the Zoom workshop, if you would like, you're welcome to turn on your cameras so that we can start making a gallery view of all the participants so we can see what everybody's doing and we can work with you together. We have about, let's say 30 minutes or so to work together. 30 to 35 minutes because we want to make sure we have some time at the end for people who have been making that they could share what they have created and so that we can see what you've been working on this hour. All right. Looks like we got see some people popping up.
Oh.
You're also welcome to unmute your microphone as well so that if you have like a quick question or just want to jump in. Do I see a soda can as a base? Yeah. So cool. Oh, that'll be really fun.
How is the wire twisting going? I know you had a flower wire and was a little bit weak, trying to make it strong.
Oh, yeah, it looks stronger when it's twisted together like that. So for those who are watching, we have some participants who are trying bending floral wire together to make it stronger because it seemed like one piece might be a little bit too bendy, but it looks like we're giving it a try with, is it 2 strands together? Three strands of floral wire together. See if that's strong. It looks pretty sturdy. Ooh, I also see a nice stack of cardboard. Hi, Kate.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Deanna.
It's always nice having friends join.
Yeah, my grandson John Isaac is with me today.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you building one together?
A little bit.
Cool.
Okay. Give me that one like the letter L. Not below here because it's got a crank. Perfect. Now you might need to cut that off and make a really long crank with it. You're strong. Let's see if it works. This is the crank. Is it working? All right, now what do you need? What do you need?
Hi, Megan.
Thank y'all for showing us some different things besides the block of wood.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
I'm so curious to see what people would bring. And yeah, it's
nice.
varieties for now. Like the aluminum can, and I see baking soda can.
Oh, we got
Water tube.
It looks like we have a question in the chat. Looks like, is that a stack of cardboard 6 pieces? I think that's a question for Kate. Kate, how many pieces of cardboard do you have stacked there?
We used 6.
6.
Yeah. I mean, that when I saw your directions that said 4 by 2 by 1, we measured and saw what 1 inch would be with our thickness of cardboard.
Nice.
Yeah, I just looked at mine, and mine also, I think I stuck to 6.
So now
Mm-hmm.
we've got to get that's exactly
Okay, another question. What does the handle look like? Ryoko, do you want to show one of your examples where you have bent your handle?
Yeah, so we call the handle shape L shape. Oh, is this L? No, the opposite L, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just one bend, and the handle shape is L shape, we call it, and the other side to hold the follower, we call it usually like a U shape. So make L shape on one side and then U shape on the other side. That's a good way.
That tool. Looking good. Let's look at what it needs to do. Sometimes that one's tricky. Hey. You want to clean here, hand it out. Sometimes it might get dull. And look, I've got the hole puncher. That's got to take a big squeeze too.
Okay, you have really good popsicle stick cutter and hole punch for popsicles.
I love a good tool. Yeah, I had I don't know what this is called. Yeah, John Isaac's using, it's a scrapbooking tool, a hole puncher that punches nicely into cardboard and popsicle sticks.
Yes, without it, right?
And then, I don't know what this one's called.
What's that?
Multi-cutter. It's a multi-cutter that cuts popsicle sticks nicely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have the same. That looks like exactly like what we have.
It's nice for their hand.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that tool that I really, John, I show them the low temp glue gun.
Yes.
We have the low temp
Mm-hmm.
that's kit with low temp a cool shot with and it uses a low temp glue stick as well, and so the tip is protected.
Mm-hmm.
And it really doesn't burn. You know, for little kids, it's really good.
Good.
Or are you doing something? Oh, but hey, I got things for you. You want to put it on there?
Ryoko, I got my
Okay.
working on the outside.
I think we're using the same kitchen sponge. Is that from Trader Joe?
No, this one had the green scrubby part on it, and I just had to kind of cut around that. Yeah, I just repurposed it for my example.
Now you have to decorate.
But it's a good idea. The building on the outside makes it so much easier than trying to figure out how to build on the inside.
Because inside it's really tricky to make mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
How is it going, Megan?
Here where the fun phone is.
Which fun phone?
Oh, nice. You already got a follower and wire bending going. Nice.
Looking really good.
Maybe something else, so it might be some wire. The wire, I don't know.
Okay, what do you want to make it out of? Okay, you get what you need.
Oh, where do we put foam? So the foam should go, how to say, remember when I said like a U shape here? And the foam lives like exactly. I don't know if you can see. Do you see? Okay, good. Looks like you are also using, is that a sponge for the, like a flowers? see Megan's already put the platform. So now she can think about the sculpture.
Maybe these are great suppliers.
And my sister.
More. Oh, those work better. All right, move fast.
Max and Gary. What's happening there?
Should our piece of foam be rotating?
Yes, it is rotating. I mean, it is going with the U shape.
But look but
Oh, okay. So if you have, like, you can put your hands on top of the aluminum can and then try to hold the vertical wire, like with your finger, and then gently try to crank it.
This needs to move. So.
Or yeah, maybe Max can hold it. So what Max is doing right now, we need that. Like we need some kind of guide instead of using our hand.
Take foam and stick it.
Yeah, what can we use?
Through the foam. Glue it on while it's sticking through the foam, so then it doesn't have a choice. It can't move, but it can still move up and down. Okay,
Wow.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that.
It's like Max figured out.
I did it.
Just wrap it around that.
These the blue ones.
Yeah, they have a sticky back.
This is sticky brown. You don't want him to stay. He's got to I
move.
want like the top to move.
Ah, I see. Let's test along the way. Is that what you want?
Kate, are those googly eyes?
Of course, everything has to have googly eyes.
Pretty lovely looking googly eyes. They look really big, at least from this angle.
Uh-huh.
Ah, so good.
What if we put some kind of like a drinking straw in here? A piece of a straw, maybe? So the wire can go through it? And would that work? Or
Let's see.
I'll go get it. You're wanting him to bend down? Maybe you have to bend the wire. Maybe something to glue down or even this. So you can bend the wire. Cut the straw. Unless you want the straw sticking out. Lower. Crank it. Find it right through there.
But then we would have to attach this down to here.
Maybe get some super duper.
Yeah, we need some more hard sticks also.
Bend the wire so that when it goes up, it
I think it would actually push it more.
back in the back.
Okay, so there's a comment in the chat from Jacqueline. Jacqueline says, I'm teaching a middle school STEM class this year, and it's great to see the variety of common household materials being used for this project and all of the creativity.
That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been nice rethinking this activity from a perspective of like, what materials do we have at home? There's so many different materials that can be used, and it's great to see even new materials that people are bringing out. It's my first time seeing an aluminum soda can today. So little things like that always make this activity really fun. So Jacqueline, thanks so much. I'm excited to see what your students make this year.
Yeah.
I have to make shorter. Those are good cutters. So we're gonna just have to bend it a lot.
Piece of paper.
We're gonna have to bend this shorter.
You're wanting you to bow down, the top to bend.
Yeah, like adding this
Huh?
up and down.
kind of like nodding his head up and down. This is the big one. It's the big one.
Let me see, maybe we don't want this strong. I think that's how-
I think we might actually have to like make the wire a little bit shorter. But you might use this sponge might help. This sponge might help. Like they could like push it. I'm just gonna bring the sponge just in case.
No, that sponge is for
Thinning things.
the spot there.
Oh,
You're just wanting his head to fall. So,
to go down, yeah.
so if you want that to happen, what do we do back here?
Like a wider thing. I'm gonna go grab something.
What he's doing, come see. He's falling down.
But it doesn't go in the full rotation.
Okay, go back. Get some tape or something.
Wait. Actually, let me see if this might work. Maybe we have to cut it shorter.
We want you to punch it.
I mean, like, I want it. I think if we like.
Punch it.
Put tape on here.
Let's see what happens then.
Oh, it's not undone.
Tape.
It doesn't really work that well. I think we have to put it right there.
Tell me what you're trying to do.
I think we might have to cut it like right here.
Come on. Here. Let's do it. What is the motion you're trying to make? You want him to bend?
Like only this part.
The top part of him to bend?
That's why I put this here in case it was like down here. The whole thing would bend.
them apart. If you cut them apart, and this part.
And down.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to make them like nod.
Oh, you making? Should be asking for suggestions.
I think I think I now I'm done.
Can we get a suggestion,
Yes.
Deanna? Can we get we need a suggestion. We're a little bit stuck on something.
Sure.
So John Isaac is trying to, his idea is to make his creature nod
Mm-hmm.
when he goes up and down. Can you show show him what you have on the back right now? Where? So he's trying. He's bent the what do you call the wire that goes into the follower? Do y'all have a word for that? A wire. A wire. That's clever. But we're stuck on how he wants the top half of his creature to like bow down and nod.
Hmm.
Do you have a suggestion?
Well, I see right now, it looks like the wire is bent. Was that going to be attached to the top of the creature to help it nod?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And what's happening with that setup? Is it not nodding?
What's happening with
It's
the eyes?
It's not really going up that much.
It's not going up that much, he says.
Oh my god.
You wanna-
This motion?
I don't know what you might do.
Can you describe the nodding motion a little bit more? Is it like kind of like forward back? Is it like a curling?
What do you want it to do? You want him
Like kind of like doing the.
Oh, like bend all the way over. That's an interesting movement, and that's a tricky one. I think a lot of times we see motions that are more like up, down, and maybe in a little bit of a circle. So a bending motion might require a little bit extra imagining as to how the wires can connect to get that really intense curl.
Okay.
Sometimes I use string to get additional motion.
What do you mean?
If like a string is being pulled up and down, if that might help get that curling motion.
John Isaac, what Deanna is saying is we've got some flexible wire here maybe, and let's get this back. Pull that one out and see. And while that goes up, this will pull it. You know what I mean? Try that. So stick that back through the hole. Stick it through the popsicle stick hole first. And then attach. Did we lose it? And then attach. What color wire do you want?
Green.
Attach that to the top. Are you saying attach it to the top and to the top of his head?
Yeah, I wonder if adding a little bit extra length might help.
Okay.
Like instead of depending on the wire going up and down motion, you can use it as just like you said, like pulling
Okay.
that up and down motion and attach top of the head, top of the monster. Okay.
Oh, you got it.
We got a suggestion from Knox in the chat. You can slit straws and insert a string. Glue the string to the end of the inside of the straw, and when you pull the string, the straw will bend.
Okay, I gotta read that again.
It's in the chat box, so if you want to.
I'm looking.
Sounds like it's a cool with a straw. An additional straw might also help as well. Ryoko, I'm just taking a look at the time. When would you like for everybody to come back and share out what they've been working on?
No.
3 groups.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can spend 5 more minutes.
Someone was suggesting. Look at the straw.
How's yours coming?
Me? I was making like a little flower, like they did, maybe like it was growing out of a flower pot. And then I remembered that I'd seen some examples where like a second wire was attached to a follower. And I thought maybe I could have, I don't know if I'll have it ready in time, but I was starting to make like a bumblebee. A bumblebee that's like flying around the flower. Yeah, I thought that might be kind of a neat way to use one motion in 2 different ways.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. What were you working on?
I made a squirrel. This toilet paper tube reminded me like just a wood like chunk.
Oh, nice.
And then I added the green, and I also kind of experimented. I made really deep U shape.
Mm-hmm.
So now it made the whole motion really big going down. So I wanted something to jump up and down. I just quickly made a squirrel.
I love that. A jumping squirrel. And looks like I got a request to show mine one more time. So I'll bring it back to my main camera. So I'm using a plastic bottle, and I have my wire going through my bottle, and I have a flower that's growing out of a little flower pot. And something that I'm not done with yet that I've just started to do is this curved wire is going back into the same follower. It's just trying out using one motion in multiple ways. So I thought maybe what I could do is I could add like a little bumblebee or a little insect that's flying around the flower. But yeah, still working on it.
It's nice to have 2 guides so that the wire won't fall off.
Yeah, I do have like 2, I used wire bending to make these 2 guides, but you could really use other materials as well. If I had a popsicle stick nearby, I would have potentially just punched a hole in a popsicle stick, but since I had the wire handy, that worked out well.
I'm gonna make another one on this side. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna do a double-sided.
A double-sided? Go ahead.
But you're gonna not have to knot it
Uh-huh.
in the same direction.
Use a short. Use a short.
Can I say, if anyone wants to show a close-up of your cranky contraption, you can spotlight your. That's all.
And it can be a work in progress. It doesn't need to be all finished. We know that these can take time. We're hopeful that people will continue making after this workshop is over. But if you'd like to share where you're at right now, we'd love to see.
there's going to be another.
Yeah.
And what's it gonna do?
I'm gonna do the same thing, but another one of those. Might actually be a fish.
Hmm?
Maybe a fish. It's gonna be a fish. I'm gonna go get some more. Actually, we have some here.
Want another color?
Let me see what colors we have. Let's
You wanna
grab
just
some
take my
blue. Can you grab some blue?
I think we're ready to share.
Megan.
What is it, Riley?
It's a Quetzalcoatlus.
Oh, look how cute.
Kind of dinosaur?
No, it's a pterosaur.
Awesome. Well, how would you describe this pterosaur? I don't know if I know of this type.
Oh,
Does it fly?
you'll just have to look up videos with dinosaurs in them and pterosaurs.
What would you say about the Quetzalcoatlus, though? What makes it special?
What makes it special is because it's the biggest pterosaur that ever ruled the land.
That's amazing. I thank you so much. I'm so happy to say I've learned something new about pterosaurs today. Thank you so much. I see also, looks like you used cork as your follower. And I see mountains, so I see a background.
Yeah, we had cork as the follower and just like a baking soda container for the base. And then the rest is just cardboard and some cardstock. And we used just ended paper clips for the wire.
Really? So even the straight up and down piece, that's a paper clip as well?
Yeah, it's one of the bigger paper clips.
Nice.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, I need to get some big paper clips now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go get
Can it fly?
some from the water on this side.
You can't see it, but no, this is up front. What's going up here?
I have to perfect idea. We can do this one and make another one together. And make it look like he's looking at the fish jumping on the
Oh,
wall.
okay, yeah. We can do that one afterward. Let's get this one going good.
So it would be a two-person one.
Okay.
Or it could also be a one-person one. Because we could tie from there to this here.
For his fishing pole.
He's not going to be fishing, he's just going to be looking.
Okay.
Because he told me not to do someone fishing.
Yep, you can. Okay.
What's your squirrel jumping for, Ryoko?
So I added an apple. And apple was too low, and I had to extend the tree. Like,
You're certainly.
yeah.
You have to put it here so it doesn't interfere with your crank.
No, I thought it was going to be on another one.
You can go right there.
Or I can just.
I'm running out. Can you go around? Maybe everyone can share where they are.
Can I see this?
Maybe we'll do a last call for share outs before we start wrapping things up.
Let's go ahead and glue this down.
It's going to
Good.
be one. Same.
Put it on the wood.
I'm really curious how that monster ended up.
You're going to tell them what your idea was and how you're going to.
Oh, it looks like now you are in a fish.
Yes. I'm going to want a blue one this time.
We have a question in the chat. Lulu's asking, when you have 2 followers, where does the second one go?
It could be anywhere.
Put it like where I put the handle.
John Isaac did. It added a second one over where.
You wanted to share, Ryoko?
Yeah. So wait, is this question from Lulu? Okay. So
Yes, from
mine, I put these 2 kind of alternate. So when you crank, the mechanism kind of alternate going up and down. But you can have them at the same level, or you can have them one side or both sides. It's up to you.
Yeah, I have this one that I didn't show earlier, but I have even one on either side of your base. So it can really give you lots of different options. Like this one was trying to fly.
Mhm. Yeah, and then you can also play around about with height and levels, like how you wanna put those 2 at the same level or different levels. Then you get the different motions.
Oh yeah, and there's like, yeah, depending on heights. I made this as an example of using 3 different wire bend heights. So you can see that this one here is a really big bend. This one's a little bit less, and then this one's even shorter. And I was doing like a jumping contest.
Oh.
So I have different animals that can jump to different heights.
Yeah.
So it's fun when you start, once you've got the hang of using one wire bend, to add more, because it adds more motion and makes a more complex story.
Mhm.
All right, Ryoko, it looks like we're almost at 11 o'clock. Should we start, wrapping things up?
Yeah, I want to see what everyone made.
Yeah, I do too.
No.
Can we potentially see maybe Kate, Max, Jelly? Can we see what you worked on this hour?
Yeah, I mean, so we struggled a bit with how to stabilize it so that it would continue to go around.
Mm-hmm.
We used this for flour, so it crumbles pretty easily. So it was a little bit of a hard material to work with.
Mm.
So, it's a work in progress.
I see. You need some kind of guide on top of your can, maybe.
Yes,
Mhm.
right? Well, that's so Max is trying.
So it won't go anywhere. That's nice.
But yeah, it was good to try out that floral foam. I've never tried it before, but it sounds like maybe it's a little too crumbly to work with.
Yes, it is way too crumbly. So we have these trays that we've pieced together that are styrofoam.
Okay,
So that was our workaround.
Cool.
that's a great workaround. I love the designs, the decorations on top too. Are they suns?
Yes.
Makes it feel like summertime.
Yeah, we were hoping for a wave, but we'll look up there. The sun going into the wave.
Oh, like a little sunset. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that wave. I see it. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. And it looks like maybe the nodding creature is ready to be shared.
It's working.
Working hard.
Oh yeah, it's coming together.
Could we spotlight Kate's video?
So it's kind of like he's either fishing or looking at the fish jumping out of the water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are there two different motions going on? One with the fish and one with the nodding?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
He's looking down in the water at the fish.
Right, and this is it's all around. So it's harder.
How do you like the nodding motion? Is it doing what you hoped it would?
Yeah.
I want to show how you ended up with this. We added the straw, showed the straw. Turn it around backwards. That someone suggested in the chat box. I don't know if that's what they were saying to do, but that seemed to help with the wire.
So is there a wire inside the straw?
Yeah.
Yeah, pick up.
There's like another one of these little green ones.
Like a bendy.
And then the little green one is attached to this metal pole thingy. And that's how it started to actually work better.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. It looks like knocked to it or made the original straw suggestion, said that that is what they meant. So,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Thank you for it.
All right, friends, it looks like we're a few minutes past the hour, so I think it's our time to wrap up this workshop. Thank you all so much for participating with us, for building alongside us. It was great to see different materials being used and also different questions being asked to make different types of mechanisms. It's wonderful to be able to build with you at a distance, and we'd love to continue to see what you're making and creating. If you are on social media platforms like Instagram or Twitter, we're using a hashtag Cranky Contraptions to share projects that we're making. And if you'd like to follow along with what we're working on, we're the Tinkering Studio at the Exploratorium, and we will share activities and suggestions and things that we're working on those platforms as well. Also, use the hashtag #MakeTogether. This is the hashtag for Make and all the things that they're working on this summer. All right, any last words, Ryoko, before we sign off? All right, this was really fun. Thank you all.
Thank you all.